every 60 seconds while you're scrolling your phone, making coffee, 8 houses just changed hands somewhere in America. 8. Not 8 this week, 8 this minute. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Here's a conversation I have almost every week now. Someone calls me and says, Ron, I want to sell, but nobody's buying right now. The market's dead. I'll just wait. And I get why they think that. The pace has cooled in a lot of areas. Homes aren't flying off the market the way they were a few years ago. Multiple offers within a day. That's rarer now. So it feels quiet. It feels stuck. But here's what the numbers actually say. More than 4 million homes will sell in this country this year. Do the math on that, and it breaks down to over 11,000 homes a day. Almost 470 an hour. About 8 every single minute. So while it feels like nothing's moving, another home just sold while you were listening to me say that sentence. So if homes are still selling at that pace, why does it feel like yours won't? That's usually not a market problem. That's a positioning problem. And positioning starts with knowing what your home is actually worth right now. Not what it was worth 2 years ago, not a guess based on what your neighbor mentioned at a barbecue. If you don't already have that number, you can get a real, no-pressure look at your home's current value at rsrlinks.com/myhome. rsrlinks.com/myhome. That's step one before you decide anything. Let me tell you about a couple I worked with. They'd been sitting on their house for almost a year, convinced the market had frozen them out. Their neighbor's house had been listed for 4 months with no offers, and that scared them off completely. They figured, why bother? But when we actually looked at what happened with that neighbor's listing, the problem wasn't the market, it was the price. It was priced like it was 2 years ago, and it was marketed like a for sale sign in the yard was enough. Nobody was actively getting that listing in front of the right buyers. So what does this mean for you? It means the 8 homes selling every minute aren't random. They're homes that are priced correctly for today's buyers and positioned so the right buyers actually see them. That's the difference between a house that sits and a house that sells in a normal market in a healthy time frame. Think about it like fishing. You can have the exact right fish in the lake, but if your line isn't in the water where the fish actually are, you're not catching anything. It's not there are no fish. It's that you're fishing in the wrong spot with the wrong bait, and you're wondering why nothing's biting. That couple I mentioned, once we repriced the home based on real current comparable sales and got serious exposure in front of qualified buyers, instead of just sitting on a listing site hoping someone would scroll by, they had a contract in 3 weeks. Same house, same neighborhood, same quote unquote frozen market everybody kept talking about. The only thing that changed was the strategy behind how it was priced and presented. That's the whole point today. The headlines love to tell you the market's slow. And in some ways, sure, it's slower than the frenzy of a few years back. But slow doesn't mean stopped. 4 million sales a year is not a dead market. That's 8 houses every 60 seconds finding a buyer. Your house can be one of those 8. It just needs to be positioned the right way, priced based on real data instead of hope, and put in front of people who are actually out there looking. If you've been sitting on the fence because you assume nobody's buying, I want you to hear this clearly. People are buying every minute. The question isn't whether buyers exist. The question is whether your home is set up to be found by them. That's exactly what we help walk through. A real look at your pricing and exposure strategy so your home isn't the one collecting dust. It's the one that's part of 8 a minute number. Head to rsrlinks.com/salesmax. That's rsrlinks.com/salesmax. And let's take a look at let's take a real look at what it would take to get your home sold, not just listed. rsrlinks.com/salesmax. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Real Time Real Estate segment, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com.